There we go. So as Marcus mentioned, we're talking about the 2020 edge here. But with AI, I reckon it has been around a lot longer than you think. So I'm going to start by taking you back to 1997, when the utterly unexpected happened, when something changed the course of human development. In 1997, this man here, Garry Kasparov, he was the world reigning chess champion, winner of more consecutive professional games than anyone else, and frequently cited as the best player in history. He was defeated in a chess match by Deep Blue. Deep Blue was a computer. That did not look anything like that, by the way, but it looks good on the presentation. Now, skip ahead to 2016. The man here is Lee Sedol, and he was the world champion of Go, a game similar to drafts. There is actually a Netflix documentary on him at the moment, so I'd advise you go see it, because he too was defeated by a computer. This was the AlphaGo created by our very own overlords at Google. And then just last year, 20 of the most experienced US lawyers were challenged to find faults in 5 NDA contracts. They too were defeated by a computer. The lawyers were 85% accurate. The Law G robot was 94% accurate. On average, it took the humans 90 minutes to complete the task. It took Law G just 26 seconds. Now, a lot of people are going to look at these three things, these three events, and say there is one overriding comparison between them all, and that's the humans were defeated by the machines. And we should be scared. They're coming here, they're going to take our jobs, they're going to make us redundant and replace us. But there's something else they're missing there. And that's that behind every one of those computers, robots and machines, there was a human, or at least a team of humans. In every one of those situations, humans were not defeated by a machine alone, but by a combination of human strategy and machine performance. And they were trying to find a better way of doing a task. Here's an example. I really hope you've never seen this anywhere before. But it's where we've found a way, where humans have found a way for machines to do something better, to improve our lives, not to take away jobs, but to make things better for us. And they've done that in 3 ways. They've improved efficiency in our tasks, accuracy, and honesty. And I'll bet every single one of you in this room at some point has used technology, especially one of these. We live our lives off this. You can run a company from your phone. It's incredible what we can do. And all AI is just that next step. It's nothing different, it's nothing huge, it's nothing massive, it's just the next step. And that's what we need to think about as, it's not going to take away our jobs. It's not going to replace people. It's going to elevate us. I believe that the biggest movement in the world at the moment is the death of Don Draper and the birth of artificial intelligence. So as Momo mentioned, it's that moving on from the Mad Men style of doing things to the machine way of doing things. I thought I'd bring you back to this because it's nice and complicated. But all this is doing is looking at every step in the customer journey. It's identifying where people are, where they're dropping off. And AI can do that all for us. And we know this because we've done it. All it is about is getting you more revenue and a better ROI. So I'll give you an example of one of my clients, Greater Anglia. We took them on, brand new, and what we did was we implemented a human strategy. We came up with the bounds of the campaigns. We created all of the different strategy for it. We created different platforms we were going to use, the channels, and we inputted that into AI. We used machine performance. And what we got out of that was the best possible results. What we did was we We didn't use AI for everything. We didn't use humans for everything. We used a combination of both. And that's the important thing, is to identify where you need a human and where you need a computer. And what that did for Greater Anglia was astonishing. We instantly saw a year-on-year cost per sale decrease of 45%. That was instantly. But now I'm going to talk about another client who didn't use AI so well, who did think it was going to change everything and they would need to sit back, relax and do nothing. And they inputted the bounds of their campaign and it spat data at them. And they sat on it. And they did nothing. And it became useless. The campaign stagnated. So what we did, we went to them and I said, give us 1 month. And I bet we can change that around. So we took all that data. We inputted new bounds to the campaign. We let the AI run, and then we looked at it again, reviewed it. And then we inputted different information. And we took out certain areas, and we focused on different platforms with different areas of the campaign, whether it was the website, the customers, or the products. Within 1 month, we saw an ROI increase of 50% for those campaigns. It was amazing. And that is what it can do. We've used all of these different tools here. You'll notice as well that Facebook and Google are on there, and we're on there as well. I'll come back to them. But we've partnered with, used and reviewed a lot of different AI tools. So I think what I'm going to do now is talk to you a bit about them, because I want you to take something away from this. So Kenshu, this is what we used for Greater Anglia. It's a really good platform. It's very stable, it's very safe, it's a good starter. We noticed that when the campaigns got to a certain point, we couldn't really use it though. It stagnated. It was a very basic platform. So it was good to get going with, it's a good place to start with. But at a point, we realised that actually our knowledge was superseding their own teams. Another one we've also used is Phosphor. This isn't an optimization platform, it's an attribution platform. And what this does is it looks at the entire full funnel, as Memo was talking about, and tries to come up with the most accurate way of attributing activity to sales. And it gives you complete sight of all the different customer journeys. However, there was a very long and complex setup time for it that it didn't really make much way for flexibility. So you have to be careful when you're setting that up. Albert AI was another one that we've used, and that is a black box. You give it everything and it does everything. It does both the attribution and the optimization of the two tools that we saw before. One thing that we did see with it though is that it was very expensive. It was 12.5% of media spend, and it was only a black box. You didn't get any human contact with that. The final one I'm going to mention is Criteo, which was really good for e-com. Due to the amount and vastness of their data and what they're pushing through, they could come up with very intricate customer insights and customer journeys. It was really good more for visual and shopping. Well, I've talked now about the first two elements, the accuracy and the efficiency. So I want to talk about that last bit, the honesty. Because I actually haven't come from agency side in Fountain, I came from client side. I managed a marketing department before. And I found that agencies really pissed me off. And they still do. But what I found with before, when I was working with marketing agencies, was that they constantly kept telling me, we're driving you this much traffic, you put all this extra budget in and look what we've got for you, we've got so many more users, isn't that fantastic? But we weren't seeing the revenue increase. We actually found that we were at a worse ROI than we were before. And it's because they didn't really see that endpoint. They didn't see that full funnel and the full attribution. All they were doing was focusing on spend on traffic. They were getting us loads of users and, well, portraying that as revenue, and it just wasn't. So what AI does is just that. It looks at the spend and it looks at where that is getting you the best revenue, and it focuses on that. It sees the exact cog to turn to push out more sales. And it can't lie. That's the best bit. Memo mentioned John Wanamaker, and I want to return to him, because what he said was half the money I spend on advertising is wasted. The trouble is, I don't know which half. With AI, you can know which half, exactly which half. And that's what we fully believe at Fountain. We've embraced AI, which a lot of agencies are scared to do, hence the Terminator slide. And what we've done is we have our own in-house script master, who we call the script wizard. And what we'll do is we'll talk to him about existing clients, new clients, whatever new is happening with them, and talk about what we can do in terms of AI, what in-house rules we can come up with. Is there any script we can add? So what we found is a way of adding automation and AI to optimize to various different things. If it's a campaign that doesn't have much budget, maybe we want to put some automated budgets on it and budget pacing. If it's got a massive budget, if it's something that we want to expand on, maybe we look at audiences and how we can optimize to different audiences. And it's an ongoing conversation. As I mentioned before, we moved on from Kenshu and actually back to Google's automation because we found that's what was needed at the time. There's no one AI to rule them all. So returning to Kasparov, the man who started this, he himself said, "It's still for us to define success and machines to perform their duty. Humans won't be redundant or replaced, they'll be promoted." And what he's talking about is this triangle. Instead of being replaced, we are moving into a new area of strategy. We are moving into that creative strategical place at the top of the pyramid. We then feed our ideas into the automated and engineering AI, which then push out data, which we then use to create and expand on our campaigns, which we then feed back in, which pushes out, and it's a continuous cycle. It's never going to end. So I want you to take two things away from this. And I've already shown you this little snippet here. Human strategy, machine performance, and the best possible results. Know when you are needed, and know when computers are needed. And you can start doing that today. These platforms have their very own forms of automation, and they're a great place to start if you aren't already. Because we're already at the stage. AI is out there, and as I mentioned, Kasparov has already been defeated. Don Draper's dead now. We need to focus on moving on and getting that 2020 edge, and AI can do that for you. That's what it's here for. It's to get you a better ROI and the 2020 edge. Thank you very much.